lot of these cases, someone will call us and they're still under investigation. And maybe it's a case I know that, hey, if we get involved in it, do our own investigation, work with the JAG office, I think there's probably a pretty good chance we can kill a case before charges are preferred. Or maybe you have a GOMOR, General Officer Memorandum of Reprimand, and you need a rebuttal to that, because if that gets permanently filed, your career's over. Maybe that's a $10,000, $12,000 fee there. That just, maybe it is. And so for something like that, even if you don't have the funds, there certainly is financing out there that's available for those, relatively lower fee cases. And so, let's use a GOMOR rebuttal. Again, the General Officer Memorandum of Reprimand. Ben's actually over in the other office drafting one as we speak. And so let's say you have a lieutenant colonel or a major, and they get this General Officer Memorandum of Reprimand. What that is you get a formal reprimand from the commanding general. This is in the Army. All services have them, but the Army utilizes this at probably 10x any other service. And so they'll, where maybe it's sexual harassment, maybe it's whatever it happens to be. There's a whole host of things you can get a reprimand for. You have 7 days to draft the rebuttal. And so the investigation may have been going on for 6 months, but you get 7 days to draft the rebuttal. We can usually get a 7-day extension, so most we're going to get is 14. From there, we'll review the investigation, interview witnesses, interview the client, and put together all the written matters that are going to get submitted to the commanding general, basically showing your side of the story, or your story of innocence, or whatever the other side of the story is. And then the commanding general makes a decision. He can either permanently file that in your AMHR, or he can locally file it or tear it up. But permanently filing it in your AMHR or your official military file, nowadays, that's automatically going to, just about automatically going to drive a separation board for you. Or if you have less than 6 years in, you're not entitled to one. And so you have something like a General Officer Memorandum of Reprimand, where, let's say you have a 16, 17-year officer. If you don't win that, you're going to be going before a board of officers to show cause for retention. And the prosecution or the government's exhibit number 1 is going to be the General Officer Memorandum of Reprimand from the CG saying you're a piece of garbage and you shouldn't be serving in the military. And more times than not, your career's over. And so the way you look at this, you have a reprimand is now potentially worth $1 million retirement, if you look at it that way. And so maybe the fee is 10, maybe it's 12, maybe it's 15, whatever that is, depending on the complexity of it, to do the rebuttal. Even if they don't have the funds available, we've partnered with people to be able to get financing for this. So you can get the financing for this, we can do the work, and if we're successful at it, you've got your entire career ahead, and you can pay that off pretty easily. And so there are certainly options that are out there. Obviously, it's not going to work for a $60,000, $100,000 attempted murder trial or a multi-victim sexual assault case. But there are a lot of instances where we take on these, quote, smaller cases for us, but these cases can have huge impacts for the clients. And again, so in terms of the financing, there are options that are available. So even if you don't think there are, call us and we'll see if we can, help you out or put you in touch with the right people to make that happen. Otherwise, you're at risk of potentially losing your entire career.